Gan Shalom Akim. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham Qadash. Double honors to the other apostles of great Millstone who teach and rule well, and Shalom to the sincere Akim brings truth and sincerity. Shalom. As you can see on the screen, I made in a text document. I wrote down Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, where it says, "And He calls it all." And what I want to do in this lesson, I want to focus on one of the biblical meanings. If you go into the, I said it, into the interlinear, with the blue letter Bible, concerning what it means, and He calls it all. Because, like I can show y'all, because I got a couple of things prepared. Which the word that I want to focus on is basically causeth. And let me read the verse first. So it says, Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16, "And He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." And the He refers to the EU and the NATO. And it says that they're gonna be the one that are gonna cause, people that are, great as in adults, children, the rich, the poor, the people in the prison, um, the people that are so-called free. They're gonna be the ones that are gonna cause all those people upon the earth, you know, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that word mark over there is the word karakma, which I'm able to show you as well. Which the word karakma in the Greek has the outline biblical usage of a stamp or an imprinted mark. This goes into the into the RFID microchip or the NFC chip. That some people are already taken willingly. For instance, in Sweden, and that's gonna be the mark that the EU and the NATO, are gonna cause, or at least try, to have everybody chip, with that RFID microchip. So also for edification's sake, I want to go even deeper into the into the root word of the word karakma, which is the word karax, where it says from karasso, to sharpen to a point, akin, through the idea of scratching. So keep this information in mind. And it says outline of biblical usage: a pure steak, a palisade. And first thing that I actually want to do is I want to show the microchip. The microchip that they're gonna implement in the people, and that's this chip. Here you see someone getting chipped, and this is actually quite good information because this also shows you what I'm about to tell you. So it says a pill or steak, a palisade. If we look up the word steak or a steak, let me see what it says. This is something that is able to hurt you because of the sharp point that is created with it. If we go back to the root word etymology, it says from carasso, to sharpen to a point, akin through the idea of scratching. So the information provided by the Blue Letter Bible for the word karax says it has something to do with a sharp point, something that resembles this shape as well. if we go back to the page that I opened with the microchip, you know, then this I don't need to go. Yeah, I don't want to go to the website though. But then this syringe that you can see on the screen here, is something that resembles that steak or that pill or palisade. You see, and through the idea of scratching, through the implementation, you know, using the syringe with the chip in it, you know, through scratching it in the skin, they're able to implement it, in the people. Um, so that's the word karax. The next word, if we go even deeper into the word karax, we go to the root word. It says grapho. So this is the next piece of information that we need to basically connect the dots concerning what that mark is that the EU and the NATO want to implement in the people. So it says outline of biblical usage to write with reference to the form of the letters, to delineate or form letters on a tablet, parchment, paper, or other material, to write with the reference to the contents of the writing. So by reading the outline of biblical usage that the word grapho can be used for, we come to the understanding that it's concerning information that is being stored on something, whether it's a tablet, a paper, or other material, as it says. You see, and if we go back to Revelation chapter 13 and we go to the 17th verse, it says, "And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name." So through the 17th verse, we understand that it has something to do with money too. That if you don't have the mark, you're not able to buy or sell. We already established that the um, the NFC chip or the RFID chip, you know, um, is the mark of the beast, um, and the NFC chip, or otherwise being referred to as the RFID chip, has the possibility for information to be stored on it. You know, um, there's information out there on the web that talks about medical information being stored on it, financial information being stored on it, the ability to open your car with it, to open your house door, to open your cabinet. Whether these things have these RFID chip lasers. You know, these things, that information that is needed, can all be put on the chip. So as it says in Revelation chapter 13 verse 17, you're only able to go and basically be a part of this society in the near future if you eventually have received that mark, which is the RFID or NFC chip. You see? So what I want to do is, let me play this um, video real quick, and to get this information out there as well. Um, Watching the video, me showing this video is only part of educational purposes. I do not own this video, so yeah. Okay. So what we see right here is the syringe is being prepared. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back to the word mark, and every step that I'm able to break down in the video, I am going to break down with the scriptures too. So here we see the syringe, or better known as the word karax, the information that is linked to the word karax, where it says root word from karas to sharp to a point that came through the idea of scratching, the pill or stake of palisad, which translates back to the syringe being used to implement this mark.
This is the fun part.
So, also going to the strongest definition of the word karakma, it says a scratch or etching. So right now they're scratching the skin and making etchings in the body with the syringe.
Man.
That is.
Bahasham.
I'll open it up.
Yeah, thank you.
So now we see that he has this imprinted mark. You see? So he's even able to do things with it concerning his phone, which has an NFC reader. So the last thing that I want to do concerning Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 all the way to 18, pertaining to the mark itself, is going to Revelation chapter 13, verse 18, where it says, "Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600 6. If we go to the to 600 6, which equals 666, which is basically the sign of the devil. If we go there, it says outline of biblical usage 666, the meaning of which is the basis of much vain speculation. So if we go to the word stigma, which is basically the comes from chai size stigma. It says root word etymology from a primary stizo, to stick in the skin, for example to prick it in the body, a mark pricked. It says outline of biblical usage, a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. To ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander branded or pricked cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belong to. So it says that this in times past was done, by these slaves and soldiers, either a branded or pricked cut, being put under the skin in their bodies to indicate what master general they belong to. If you take this RFID chip, this NFC chip, this mark that they're gonna implement, you're bowing down to Isa Eden the Soka Weapon upon this earth, meaning you're in league, well, not in league, you're basically accepting and agreeing with the ways of how this society is built up. So once you pledge your allegiance to Isa Edom, that's it, man. There's no way back, man. Because those that took took the chip, you know, whether willingly, you know, um, or forced because of the times that we're heading into. Either take the mark, or there's a possibility for you to get your head chopped off, or face some different way of being put to death. Because let me grab those two scriptures too. This is not the way that I planned this video, but hey, it is what it is, man. This is Revelation 13 and 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So the image of the beast refers to the way that this society is set up, the beast system. Without their ways, their philosophies, their policies. If you worship it, it means you agree to it. But here it says in verse 15 that those that don't worship it, that don't fall in line with the way that this society is set up, that they should be killed. Which one of the things that pertains to that image of the beast is the mark of the beast. Later on, I'm gonna talk about the articles, that I, planned on going into. But yeah. So this is what happens if you're uh, not in league with the system. So this is what happens with those that eventually took the mark. So this is Revelation 14 and 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. So if you take this RFID chip, this NFC chip, this is what's gonna happen. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, in the presence of the Lamb. And that fire and brimstone that these people are going to be tormented with refers to the thermonuclear missiles that the Most High is going to have all these different nations, launch. You see, and America is going to be completely destroyed. In different parts of the earth, going to be destroyed too. But those that took the mark, they're going to be tormented, with that nuclear fire. You see. But going back to the word stigma, because it says also in the last part, and there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their gods, which this refers to, for example, the guy that I just showed you. He did it willingly. In Sweden, you have all these employees that willingly take it because of convenience and things like that. And that's also the way that they're trying to sell this. It's convenient. You don't lose your wallet and things like that. So yeah. So yeah. Back to the topic that I initially wanted to go into, because as it says in Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16, eventually this this markers of the beast is going to be implemented. But before that's going to happen, this society is going to be being made ready. The ways of the society are going to be prepared for the people to eventually receive it, man. And let's go to the word causeth, because I really didn't really go into it, you know. So it's the word poeo, and the outline biblical usage. When it goes straight to the point, it says to make ready, to prepare. So this society is being prepared, you know, to eventually, you know, receive, you know, the marks of the beast. Um, so something that I want to go into a little bit more in detail in this lesson are the inoculation mandates, um, that you can see popping up, um, here and there upon the earth. The vaccination, so like an inoculation passport, um, which I went into in another lesson, how these passports right now are forgeable. You know, they can be messed with. You know, eventually, you know, the paper passport or card, you know, they're gonna try and make it digital, and eventually, when it's digital, and they find out like this is not it, they're gonna institute, you know, the MOTB, man, the marks of the beast, you know, and eventually, what's gonna happen too is, you know, they're gonna deny these inoculated people access to, for instance, supermarkets, which also is in relationship to what it says in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, and verse 17 and verse 18. You know, they're gonna deny the people this. You know, they're preparing the ways. You know that the people are gonna be literally forced. You know, to either take it or just trust in the Most High, man. And otherwise, you have people that are trying to lay up all this food for themselves. You know, basically be preppers. You know, hoping that they're gonna make it until, you know, whenever. But the main point of this video is going to be into the inoculation mandates. Um, you know, also concerning the denying um, the inoculated access. I also went into that a couple of weeks ago. Um, was before France President Macron um, lost uh, in lost all the trials, basically the court, the cases. He lost these cases concerning him wanting to deny the inoculator from going to the supermarkets. You know, which is basically a very unrighteous decree, man. You know, you're denying these people their food, their basic necessities. This is this is Sirach chapter 39 and verse 26. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil, and clothing. So if you deny the people the access to the supermarket and stores, you're denying their principal thing, man, their necessities, man. You know, and that's very wicked. That's very unrighteous, man. And these people are gonna get destroyed for that. Um. So yeah. What I wanted to go into is this article in the Dutch concerning Shell. There are also a couple of English versions. There's more information on it in English as well. But the reason I decided to go with this is because it also speaks about more companies that are, you know, in line with what Shell, you know, is, you know, might institute. So what I did is I translated the article with Google Translate. So this is the proof that it's the article. So it says Shell is considering making inoculations mandatory and firing employees who still refuse a shot. So this is the time that we're heading into. You're either gonna take the shot or you're gonna lose your job. Which means if you lose your job, you're gonna lose your house. You're gonna lose you know, your possibility of going to the supermarket to buy food because hey, you got no money. These people are really being put in a corner, and that's what Edom the so-called white man upon the earth is doing, man. There's a reason he's being called the devil and Satan in the scriptures, you know, because only a devil would do these things. You know. Reading on, that is according to an internal memo from the Financial Times about a week ago. This would initially concern personnel at, for example, offshore locations. The staff not only work in such locations but also live there. The obligation would only apply if a number of other criteria are met. For example, inoculations must be available that have been approved by the WHO Health Organization. At a later date, let me put it up a little bit so people can read along. At a later date, the inoculation obligation could also apply to other employees. For employees who refuse a inoculation, we will do our utmost to avoid layoffs, although there is no alternative, the company wrote in the memo. Shell declined to respond to questions from the Financial Times about the memo. The oil and gas giant isn't the first company to consider an inoculation commitment. For example, at the end of August, LeasePlan was the first Dutch company to make inoculations mandatory in the office. According to experts, the company is therefore on thin ice from a legal point of view. There are also more companies worldwide that are making inoculations mandatory. Let me see if my face is not. No. There are also more companies worldwide that are making inoculations mandatory. For example, Google requires all employees to have a inoculation if they want to go on if they want to go to one of its American offices. Facebook announced a similar measure, and France has amended the law in such a way that healthcare workers are obliged to be inoculated against the Crown Royal 19. So what we're seeing here right now is that companies, and certain companies are already starting with it, other companies might soon follow. They are making these inoculations mandatory, and if you don't, I said, if you don't, what is it? Basically, if you refuse to take it, you're gonna lose your job, man. And that is the reason that we're it's like that is the not the reason, but I'm gonna put it like this. That is the way how these people are being put in a corner and eventually gonna have to make a decision, you know, because a lot of people that might be against the inoculation right now, when the time comes, hey, put your money where your mouth is, because if you're gonna lose your house, if you gonna, hey, cause you don't even own your house, man, you don't own shit, you know, you probably got a mortgage, so your house basically is owned by the bank, you know. If you don't pay your house, they're gonna kick you out of the house, and then you're on the street. So all these people are being faced with the situation of either losing everything they have or take that inoculation. So we see that the way that I'm gonna put it um, the way that this society is being groomed to being prepared, is by the way of these policies that are being made. And right now, Shell is most likely doing it, from it out of itself. But as some people might have read about, is President Biden. He basically um, came with mandates um, for the companies, man. So it says Biden unleashes sweeping new mandate, inoculation mandate requiring the jab for all employers with more than 100 workers. So here it is basically the president, deciding what's gonna happen with these companies, man. And if these companies, if they don't comply, they're gonna be measures for the companies which costs them money. So these companies be like, we don't want to lose money. We're gonna, to the best of our ability, because the amount of money that this company is gonna have to pay per employer, a it's crazy, man. That's also grievousness which they prescribe, you know. And the word grievous also goes into to cause fear. So by these rules and regulations, these mandates, these policies that they put forth, they put fear upon the people, you know, fear mongering. And through the fear mongering, a lot of people are going to be persuaded to take jab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and as many as they require the people to take, until the time comes when it's time to receive the marks of the beast. And those people are going to be willing too. Why? Because they are already groomed by the ways of this society to be in line with what this beast system requires of the sheeple to do and receive. So let's read a little bit concerning this article. It says President Joe Biden on Thursday is announcing sweeping new federal inoculation requirements affecting as many as 100 million Americans in an all-out effort to increase Crown Royale 19 inoculations and curb the surging Delta variant that is killing thousands each week and jeopardizing the nation's economic recovery. The expensive, let me see if this is the correct one, because I had another one. This is not the correct article. Let me see. There's another one. Yeah, this is the correct one, if I'm correct. Yeah. Yes, this is the correct one. They look alike. So it says private companies with over 100 employees who refuse to mandate inoculations and strict testing could face $14,000 fines. President Joe Biden on Thursday announced an aggressive new plan to get 100 million employees across the federal government and private sector inoculated against Crown Royale 19 as the case rate continues to rise due to the Delta variant. You see, so President Joe Biden, he is the one that, basically put forth the new policy, the new rules, and what's gonna happen if these companies, don't follow the rules that are being laid out by the president. So it says, according to the Daily Mail, to reach his goal, Biden will use the sweeping power of the federal government, ordering companies to inoculate workers or face fines of up to thousands of dollars if the administration hits its 100 million mark. That means 2/3 of the country's workforce would be inoculated. The Labor Department issued an emergency temporary order to require all businesses with 100 or more employees to ensure every worker is either fully inoculated or gets tested at least once a week. In another article, I read that the um, something concerning the testing is the minimum requirement, but that the um, companies itself could also opt to only go for the inoculation itself. That these people are not able to test at all. You see, the order covers over 80 million employers, like employees, and it will require employers with 100 or more employees to give employees paid time off to get inoculated. So the companies now also have to pay for the time that the people, spent, getting inoculated. Any business that violates the new rule will face substantial fines up to $14,000. He also required all workers in healthcare settings that receive Medicaid or Medicare reimbursement to get inoculated, which will apply to 17 million healthcare workers. You see, so all the people in that work in the healthcare sector, they're they're forced to get inoculated, you know. And the companies that have in not inoculated people walking around, they're the ones that are gonna face these substantial fines, you know. And if there are people there that are not testing weekly, you know, they're facing substantial fines, which that $14,000, that's gonna put fear in the companies, man. It's gonna put some fear in hey, let me look up grievous. Here, grievous, causing fear or anxiety by threatening great harm. So if we go to Isaiah chapter 10 and 1, it says, woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees. The policies that are being put forth are unrighteous. The people are being, their liberty is taken away. Their freedom, or the so-called freedom, is being taken away. Because actually we're still state-owned slaves, which the majority of the people don't even know about, you know. But what they're doing right now is very unrighteous, man. It's not upright. It's not fair. It's not just. You see? And that right grievousness which they have prescribed. So what they're doing through these policies, they are causing fear and anxiety because they're threatening the companies by these mandates. And eventually, these companies gonna be more strict. They're gonna opt for certain they're gonna opt for the either inoculation, getting tested, or both, or whatever. But the fact remains that these companies, they're gonna be more breathing in the neck of their employees, you see, to make sure that whatever is being said by the government, that's gonna be upheld. Reading on, this is in addition to his executive order requiring all federal workers and contractors to get inoculated. And federal workers are basically workers people that work for the government, you know. And how many people work for the government? A lot of people. So through their policies, you know, they want to get everybody inoculated. You know, a senior administration official described it as an aggressive, comprehensive plan to fight Crown Royale 19 as part of their mission to inoculate the inoc the uh, uh, the not inoculated people. The official estimated nearly 80 million Americans are eligible to receive a shot but have not. Additionally, the roughly 300,000 educators and Head Start program will be required to be inoculated. Of course. So we see, you know, oh, Slovakia. So we see that the Revelation 13 and 16, where it says that he causeth all, goes into make ready, prepare. We see that through the policies, the mandates, the laws, we see that this way is being prepared for the markers of the beast. You know, the way that they're working with these inoculation cards or passports, which are forgeable right now, which, hey, already people were caught with it, you know. People are seen making it, you know. All these things, man. The government's gonna notice these forgeries more and more. They're gonna be looking for a solution to deal with that, to make sure that the people that are, you know, are inoculated, you know, are known, you know. And they're gonna do that through the MOTB, man. Just a scan, it belongs to you. All the way goes back, to the medical database to see what you get, man. And eventually also denying the people access to their basic necessities, the supermarkets, clothing stores. Everything is being done for the MOTB, man. By taking away the rights of the people, the liberty, you can make them do crazy things, man. You can make them do crazy things. Personally, my mom, at first she said, I'm not done with it. I'm not done with it. I'm not gonna do it. The hell with it. Now she sees and reads like her rights are taken away, her movement, is limited, where she can go, what she can do. So hey, she's considering, if the time needs be, then hey, she might, take the inoculation. Which hey, those people that take the inoculation will eventually also take the MOTB, man. With their mind, they're too much, focused on being in this life, in this world. But those that follow Yahawashi, we're not worried about what's going, on upon the earth, concerning career, the White House with the picket fence. We're not worried about those things, man. We're laying up treasures for heaven. We're neither thieves break in or steal, nor moths doth corrupt. We're living for that eternal life, man. Not for this present kingdom. So Yaratazah, this lesson was edifying, and I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham Qadash. Double honors to all the apostles of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and shalom to the sincere Akiams, bring truth and sincerity. Shalom.